have a passion in value addition, and it's always a pleasure and a joy to see the farmers change their lives when they come to us and we impart some knowledge in them. It was also a desire for me to continue with my studies. After graduating from the Technical University with the first class honors, I felt I needed to do something extra and improve my skills for me to be able to give back to the community. I came across an advert in one of the papers, the Daily Nation, which was talking of Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Project and some scholarships. I got interested. I read through it and I realized I met the minimum qualifications that they were looking for. I didn't waste any time. I applied and attached whatever they needed. After some time, I was given a call, being notified that I'd been shortlisted and was invited for an interview at Karo, Naivasha. I did a concept paper which was talking of potatoes. My area was climate smart crop varieties, and having worked with farmers who are dealing with potatoes, I felt the desire and the drive to get to know what we can do more with the farmers on potatoes. Hence I did a concept note on value addition of Irish potatoes. I was one among the successful candidates who were to benefit from KCSAP. This was a dream come true, and I just could not wait. My research area that we settled on with my supervisors was Nyandarua County, where I worked. I got samples from 2 wards, Igevioro and Kipipiri ward. Why Nyandarua? It's because it's one of the counties that is leading in Irish potato production. Trying to determine the correct maturity stage for harvesting, I was also looking at the effects on location, on the physical-chemical properties, and storability of the Irish potatoes, and also the suitable processing techniques that we could disseminate to the farmers once my work was done. Yes, so we came up with 3 objectives. The first one was to look at the physical-chemical properties of the Irish potatoes, which we settled for the 2 varieties, that was Shangi and Makis. Then we determined the storability. For how long could we store these potatoes? How long would the farmers store the potatoes and they were still fit for use? And finally, we were able to look at a processing technique that the farmers could adopt. We appreciate during glut, we have a lot of post-harvest losses, and we appreciate seeing SMEs start up small processing industries whereby they are peeling, slicing, and selling to fast foods. When we talk of physical-chemical properties, when a farmer wants to add value to their produce, especially the Irish potatoes in this case, there are those qualities that are very, very key, and they can be divided into 2. We have the internal qualities, for example, the starch content. When we talk of starch, this is 70%. This constitutes of 70% of the potato tuber, and it determines the texture of the final product. For example, the texture of the crisps, the texture of the chips, which are major products being produced in our country. The other thing, we talk of the sugar levels. By the sugar levels, there are those sugars we call glucose, the simple sugars. And when we fry potatoes at very high temperatures during crisps and chips processing, they form a product called acrylamide. This product is known to be dangerous or to be harmful because it is known to be cancerous. So in these two varieties, we needed to know what are the levels at the different maturity stages. I also looked at ascorbic acid. We realized the body is not able to synthesize its own ascorbic acid, that is vitamin C. We can only get it from fruits, vegetables, and equally potatoes have got some level of vitamin C. So we were interested in knowing, can we use our potatoes as sources of vitamin C? We also looked at the moisture content, that's the amount of water in that potato. This is important because when we are frying, if the water levels are very high, the potato will absorb a lot of oil, and not everyone would want to really buy a product which is very, very oily. On the external qualities, there were some which are very key. We were looking at the size of the tuber. Everybody would want to buy something that is big. So that one we measured of the two varieties, Makis and Shangi. We're also looking at the shape index because it is well known that for the long oval potatoes, they are good for processing French fries. The round ones, you can use them for processing of crepes. So we have to determine between these two varieties, what products would they be suited for. There is something we call specific gravity. This is a key indicator of the quality of the potato, which can be done at the farm level. So we needed to determine what is the specific gravity of these two tubers across the three maturity stages. The other thing we determined was the color. Color is a key attribute when it comes to consumer purchases. So what was the flesh or the color of the flesh of Makis? What was the color of the flesh for Shangi? We realize sometimes when the potatoes shed off the flowers, our farmers start harvesting them. So we subdivided the stages into three. When they have flowered, we took a sample at that point. When they have shed off the flowers, we took a sample at that point. And when their leaves are yellowing and they are drying up. So those are the three stages we dealt with. Why the three stages? Because at one point, the farmers want to take advantage of the early markets so that they can get to sell their produce at very high prices. But you realize when we harvest at the wrong stage, when we go to processing, we get a lot of losses due to the high perishability of the produce. So we are still to determine what is the best harvesting stage for our produce. Then we also wanted to know the storability between Makis and Shangi. Which one could store for a long period of time? Yeah, so those tests were done in two different places. For the physical-chemical properties, they were done at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology in their biochemical lab. Then for storability, we stored the potatoes at Karo Tigoni, that's the Center for Potatoes, and we were able to follow up on how the samples were behaving as we documented. The first thing, we determined that both varieties, Makis and Shangi, can be used for value addition of the different produce, be it crisps, be it chips. We recommended they can be used. Number two, a finding that we came across, maize would store for a very long time. It actually stored for 6 months without sprouting or rotting, compared to shangi, which only stored for 2 months and was fully sprouted. Then we determined the third maturity stage was the most suitable stage for processing. This is where we had minimal levels of sugars, which is key. At that maturity stage, it's where when you had a bigger size of the tuber. Yes, the other thing, we also looking at the number of eyes. We realized both varieties had minimal number of eyes, though shangi had more compared to maize. And the number of eyes attributes to the losses during peeling, but both of them, they passed the test. The kind of a picture I see increase in productivity. Because as we said initially, these are climate smart varieties, meaning they're not adversely affected by climate change. I see improvement in food security in our country. Why? Because there's not any one time we are going to lack enough produce for our people. Then when it comes to the issues of processing and value addition, these varieties are suitable. So if our farmers were able to adopt these technologies and they run with it, we are going to have wealthy farmers. We are going to have income generation. Our youths are going to be employed in these processing units, and we'll be talking of profitability of our farming activities.